Sawadee krap. Wow, there is a lot of people here. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming today. Firstly, let me say how cool has it been to see all of these startups and all of these companies representing Thailand and all of the really interesting and cool things that's being done here. Firstly, and secondly, again, thanks to GetLinks for organizing and inviting us along. They asked me to talk to you today a little bit about who is Google, what do we do, what's some of the interesting stuff that we do internally, and more importantly, how can you actually get a job at Google? All right? So let's start and come and do cool things that matter. So I'm not sure who remembers back in 1996 when Google was founded, but search used to be really difficult to use. It would take 5 minutes to get online. It would take 5-10 minutes to search. Maybe 2 or 3 things would pop up. Really tough. People thought it was good. Our founders disagreed. So they decided to create something that was new, innovative, and get all of information online. Today, we're still trying to improve and get better. Search for us is not finished, okay? I watched TGIF, and for everyone who doesn't know TGIF, every Friday, everyone at Google gets together and has a couple of beers, listens to Larry Page and Sergey talk about our company. And they talked about search is nowhere near finished. And the reason for that is when you search something, hundreds of thousands of results come up. We want that to be smaller, faster, better equipped. Can we play the video, please?
Here's what gives us hope. The world knows how to fight this disease.
Here we go. Ready?
Did you hear those words?
Just rendezvousing with this comet is an extraordinary thing. We're going to make discoveries that no one's imagined yet.
So we've come quite far from 1996 to today. My clicker's not working. There we go. Trust Google. Google's mission statement is very simple. We want to take every piece of information, put it in one place, and make it really easy to access. That's all. That's all we want to do. We want to use technology to make the world a better place. So what started with search 19, 20 years ago, we're not really that much of a startup anymore. We're kind of a teenager, if you want to think of us like that, has now become so much more. But our vision still remains the same. So if you look outside of search, you've got a lot of different products now. Gmail, YouTube, Maps, Play, driverless cars, glass, healthcare. It's all designed to do one thing: make the world a better place through technology. We want people at Google who are audacious. Now, with our simple mission statement and wanting to change the world, we kind of need big thinkers, because it's going to take a lot of work. So I want to talk a little bit more about what it's like to work at Google and what it takes to work at Google as well. So I'm not sure who knows, but at Google, everyone has a 20% project. And what this means is that one day a week, you spend time doing something that you're interested in outside of your core job. And going back a couple of years, a couple of Googlers realized that, hey, we want to get all this information accessible to everyone, but that doesn't really matter if people can't view and access all this cool information. So if you think about the world, there's massive pockets where people don't have access to the internet. Southeast Asia is one of these areas, Africa, South America. So these guys got together, they sat in a room and they thought, how do we get people to access all of this cool information and all this education? And what they did was they created Project Loon. Has anyone heard of Project Loon? 1, 2, 3, okay, not too bad. It's kind of crazy. Project Loon is basically massive balloons that travel around the world and beam internet down into really remote areas, okay? And these guys did this 20% of their time just for the fun of it, because they wanted to change the world. And if you look really closely, on a clear day, you'll sometimes see the balloons traveling in the atmosphere. At any one time, there's hundreds of balloons traveling around the world, beaming down internet to allow people to access information and education online. And we do it for free. I want to talk a little bit about what it's like and what life is like at Google. I'm not sure if anyone's seen the movie The Internship. You know, it kind of talks a lot about free food, free candy. You run around with a hat sometimes. It's a little bit like that, to be honest. But we do other stuff as well. We do work. From day one, you'll have access to everything. This is our campus in California, in Mountain View. Imagine a company where there's no bureaucracy. There's no levels. There's no layers. You can talk to anyone. You can ask questions to anyone. Any information that you want is given to you. Our founders present to us on a weekly basis about how the company's doing. What are the challenges we face? What are the opportunities? What can we do better? My clicker's broke again, sorry. You'll have an impact from day one. You know, most companies you probably join and you take 6 months, you do training, you do development, you learn, and then you start making an impact. From day one, you will be asked to contribute. I remember my first day at Google. It was about 2:30, I just had lunch. I was enjoying the free food. And I was sitting in a meeting, I was kind of relaxed, I was a little bit tired after lunch. And I was listening to this meeting, and they immediately turned to me, and they said, John, what do you think? And I said, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm the new guy. What do you mean, what do I think? And they said, we don't care. What do you think? Give us your idea. So for anyone who joins Google, be prepared and be ready to just come in and make an impact. Google's all about proving yourself. We don't have traditional career paths. Again, there's no bureaucracy. You know, if you've been there for 1 day or 20 years, it doesn't matter. In terms of generating and building a career path, everyone writes their own path. You sit down with your manager on a quarterly basis, you list what you're interested in doing, and you go and do it. That can be anything. Anything that you want to do, anything that you're interested in, write it down. Your manager's job is then to do it. Pretty cool. You can grow and develop in so many different ways. I'm not sure if anyone knows the girl second from the right. Is anyone? Susan Wojcicki? She's actually the lady who rented her garage to Sergey and Larry back in 1995, just before we launched, to build their product. She's now head of YouTube. But in terms of growing a career, there's so many different things you can do. You You can move teams, you can move locations, move geographies. If you join us in Thailand and Bangkok, it's not the end. You can end up in America, you can end up in UK, you can end up in Australia, Japan, wherever you want to go, whatever you want to do, it's possible. You'll have fun. Again, there's some free food. But outside of that, work is about having fun and enjoying ourselves. This is from a pride parade in the US. But a really cool story that I want to share is in Singapore, homosexuality is still banned. All right? And that's where I live and my coworkers live. And a couple of years ago, the LGBT Society of Singapore approached numerous companies and they said, hey guys, we want to organize something called Pink Dot. Has anyone heard of Pink Dot? Nope? Okay. Pink Dot was an organization they wanted to create where they would celebrate being LGBT. And they approached hundreds of companies, and they all said no. They said, what will the government think? Will our business be impacted? What's going to happen to us as a company? And they approached Google, somewhere near the middle of the end, and Google said, of course. He said, we want to support you, we want to be there for you, let's bring the whole office down and let's have a massive party in pink to celebrate LGBT. And I'm really proud to say that today, Google is one of the main sponsors and contributors to the Pink Dot. And the other cool thing is that a lot of corporates have followed us. So when we talk about being audacious, we want to do things differently. Quite often we're going to be the first company and the first people to do that, but we don't care because even if others follow, that's so awesome. Because it means we can try and change the world through what we do and influence others. Google's a bit of a minefield in terms of jobs. People always ask me, what can I do at Google? And I'm like, well, what do you want to do? I actually graduated as a teacher many years ago, and now I'm on stage talking to you guys, so somewhere I failed or somewhere I succeeded, I'm not sure. Whether you want to come and join us in sales, marketing, partnerships, product management, HR, recruitment, it doesn't matter. We look for the person, not the role, or not the team that you'll fit into. So be open and be creative. The clicker's broke again. So, my favorite part, how do you actually get a job at Google? I've been trying to work this out for a little bit of time now. I think I've found the answer, and I'm going to share it with you today. So I was going to say don't tell anyone, but apparently I'm being recorded, so I might get in trouble. So you guys can't tell anyone, and I'll find the guy with the video camera after and try and stop him. So, step one, submit your resume. Before I joined Google, I thought it was a really cool company. I'd seen the movie The Internship. I used Google all the time. I knew it was a cool place to work, but I didn't know anyone who worked there. I didn't know what they did, and I was a little bit put off. I was kind of skeptical. I wasn't sure. The first step is just to apply, just do it. Send your resume. Step two, wait a little bit. Just to give you some concept, we receive about 3.5 million applications a year, and our recruitment team's not that big. So we get pretty busy. Just wait a little bit, and we will come back to you. A really cool tip is, if you know anyone at Google, or if you can find someone at Google on LinkedIn, on Facebook, online, on Twitter, befriend them and ask them to refer you. I'm serious. They will get a lot of money for referring people into the company. Please approach them, okay? Send them an email, send them a text, say hey. Be audacious, right? Reach out to us. We got big plans, we want to grow, and we need you guys to help us. All right? So once you've submitted your application, just wait. We'll come back to you. Step 3, the all-important interview process. Google used to be famous for 10, 15, 20 interviews. I heard about 25 once. They would ask crazy questions like, how many ping pong balls in this room can we fit? How long would it take me to walk to the moon if I started now? Why is this square square? Thank God we have stopped asking those questions, or I would not get a job at Google. We stopped asking those questions because we found out that we had a lot of people who knew how many ping pong balls were in this room, but they didn't know much else. All right, so we've changed the way we interview, and the good news is that you will have a maximum of 4 interviews. Not 10, not 20, 4. In each of those interviews, we will assess you on 1 attribute. That's all. 45 minutes, 1 attribute, 4 interviews. First attribute that we'll look for is called RRK, role-related knowledge. Let's say it's a sales role. Have you sold something before? Or can we teach you how to sell? That's all. We'll just talk about the role. We'll ask you your opinions on it. We'll ask you some questions about it. Simple, easy. Interview 2. It's called leadership. To Google, leadership is not about managing 10, 100, 1,000 people. It's about stepping up and doing the right thing. Do you want to put your hand first to do a project? Do you want to help your coworkers, even when you don't get all of the credit? I have 2 amazing coworkers here today who have flown all the way from Singapore to support me and help us to talk to you guys. They don't get anything for it. Non-traditional leadership. Third interview. You're almost there. GCA. General cognitive ability. Problem solving. We have a plan to change the world. I don't know any other company that business plan is to change the world, by the way. So therefore, we have to assess people for problem-solving skills. We have to ask you a couple of questions about how you can help us through that. Super simple. Final interview. Almost there. Googliness. I've been working at Google now for a little over a year. I get asked, what is googliness all the time? I have no idea. I'm sorry. It's kind of undefinable. But I thought about it last night before I came here, so did some work. And to me, googliness is, if you work in a company, if you work in an office, you're there for 10, maybe 12 hours a day. You want to work with nice people. You want to work with people that you enjoy spending time with, who challenge you, and who want to have fun. That's what googliness is. So you've finished your 4 interviews. Hooray, you've passed. Okay, it's not as difficult as it used to be. Super simple now. Step 4 is the offer process. Every candidate who joins Google, we write a proposal and it gets sent to California. And our VPs look at it, and in a lot of cases, our CEO, Larry Page, will look at this proposal. So for 1 week in your life, you will be famous because Larry Page will be reading your resume, looking at your background, and looking at what you've said in your interviews. All right? Super simple. The whole process takes about 4 to 6 weeks. Again, short, simple, easy. And then we make you the offer and you come and join us and you come and have fun and you can eat all the food that you want. And you can put on what's called the Google 15, which is the 15 kilos that you put on when you join Google. And yes, they have done a study into that and it's true. And you can tell by me. All right. Just before we move to the video, talked a little bit about what Google does, who we are, what we want to do. We want to change the world, we want to use technology, and we want to have fun. This video talks and says a little bit about what we're doing right now and how we're trying to achieve that. Can we play it, please?
I see the walls, then see them fall. We break through them all.
We want to create technology to dramatically improve the world.
And slowly scream against the stream, our eyes watering.
To really transform our urban centers.
To preserve and promote culture online.
To study and be inspired by science.
I'm currently combining medical research and computer science to improve breast cancer diagnostics.
That next generation of smart, powerful women, they're already knocking on the door.
Hey station, this is Google Plus. How do you hear me?
Soichi, hear you loud and clear, homie.
We try to push these challenging technologies to transform the world and change people's lives.
Now we're in uncharted waters, and what I'm talking about has never really been done before. But that's why we should do it.
Pretty cool. Just before we finish, I want to kind of leave you with one message. I've met some really cool people today. The talent, the energy, and the passion within Thailand right now is fantastic. I am so excited that we're growing our office in Bangkok. I have a really difficult job that I have to hire a lot of people in the next couple of years, so please help me out and apply. The things that are going on in Thailand right now are amazing. We heard Arya talk about them before. We're investing, we're growing, we need help. Please don't be afraid to apply. If I can leave you with one message, there's a lot of young people in the audience, there's a lot of people interested in startups. You're growing your career, you're starting out. It can be tough, right? When you start thinking about your career, there's a few messages that I want you to take away from today. Okay? Never settle. Don't settle for a company, a job, a path that you're not happy about or you're not sure about. Never stop learning, even for a second. Always strive to do better, to challenge and improve. In everything that you do, be audacious. And most importantly, always try and do cool things that matter. I'll be around for the next hour or so. I'll be around all day tomorrow. Please come and say hi. Thank you so much for coming, and I look forward to speaking to everyone. Thanks, guys.